I am struggling myself, and I don't know where else to go.
I do support this ordinance, whether imperfect or not. It's something that we're doing that's going forward.
A person's life can change in a day. I went from upper middle class married to homeless.
Today on the Morning Edition, lots of emotional testimony during last night's Anchorage Assembly meeting as the discussion continues over how to deal with the city's homeless crisis. Plus,
the safety deficiencies that led to this accident should have been evident to Boeing and to the FAA.
A missing panel, critical oversight, and a warning for the entire aviation industry. What investigators uncovered about what went wrong on an Alaska Airlines flight.
And later, he is trading in his captain's hat for a chef's apron. Why this pilot's passion for serving up hot dogs is taking off as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone, on this Wednesday. Did you see he also had a hot dog shirt?
Ooh, cute. Summer always makes me want a hot dog or a reindeer dog for that matter, especially when you're walking downtown. You just the aromas in the air.
Some sauteed onions on there.
Why we always talk about food in the morning?
About food. It's early. It's
There's never breakfast food. It's always hot dogs, hamburgers, ice cream. We are waking up this morning. We do have some sunshine breaks across South Central. Those clouds, they will build right back in throughout the remainder of the day. We are also going to watch some rain showers spreading across South Central throughout the rest of your Wednesday. Now, as far as what we're dealing with this morning in terms of those temperatures, we are sitting in the upper 40s and lower 50s. We're at 53 degrees. Winds are fairly breezy, and we're going to see those winds steadily increase for parts of South Central as we continue to progress through the rest of your Wednesday. We're currently sitting at 43 in Eureka, 47 degrees in Kenai, so there's those upper 40s and lower 50s, really favoring the better chance for some rain across the eastern half of South Central today. And then by tonight, areas of the northern Susitna Valley will tap into that better potential for some rain. Now, western parts of South Central will still see that potential for some showers, but only some spotty to isolated activity does look possible, again, as we're favoring eastern parts of the region where we're going to see that better chance for some rain. And notice the general movement of this rain coming in from the southeast. When we look in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we do have a short wave or upper level disturbance to our south. That is driving in plenty of moisture into the state. And this is also going to lead to some widespread rain that's going to build into the interior later today. And that's going to keep some wetting rains in the forecast, which will certainly help with those firefighting efforts. And of course, we continue to favor cooler conditions across the state for a large portion of this week. We will warm into the 60s today. We'll hold on to some sunshine breaks through at least the first part of the day before those clouds do thicken right back up across South Central. And again, you can see areas of Prince William Sound through the Copper River Basin really favoring some of the heaviest rainfall today. And then by tonight, we'll see that shifting into parts of the Susitna Valley and parts of the Matanuska Valley as well. So wetter conditions to be expected today. We'll have more on that as well as that 7-day forecast for you coming up.
In today's top story, the city's ongoing struggle to solve the homeless crisis took center stage during last night's assembly meeting. It sparked strong reaction from across the community.
The proposal being considered in Anchorage would impose criminal penalties for people who sleep or camp in public areas, including parks, trails, and sidewalks. If found guilty, someone could face up to 6 months in jail and up to a $2,000 fine. Lauren Maxwell reports.
This isn't just a housing crisis. It's a safety crisis. We've lost control of public space, and it's getting worse. That's why I'm introducing a prohibited camping ordinance.
South Anchorage Assemblyman Keith McCormick doesn't believe the mayor's approach to abating homeless camps is enough. The proposed ordinance would give police the power to take action right away and possibly divert people into treatment. But policing, putting people in jail, or offering them treatment beds takes money. It's something Assembly Chair Christopher Constant says the city doesn't have.
It communicates a false promise to the public that even should this law pass, that all of a sudden there would be the resources available to sweep people off of the street so you wouldn't have to see them. That's not reality.
One homeless man told us what he thinks about the proposal.
Putting a guy in jail is not the answer. Teach him a trade so he can get back on his feet.
He says he hasn't seen the resources to get people help.
You gotta wait 6 months to get into a treatment center. And 6 months, I seen people die on the streets in one day.
Sponsors say the ordinance is necessary to turn the city around.
We have to start somewhere, and that means drawing a line.
Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
It was a packed room with many holding signs in protest of the proposed ordinance. Many spoke out during last night's public hearing, and it comes on the heels of the abatement of one of the largest homeless encampments in the municipality. The ordinance had two new versions introduced, one of them coming from Mayor Suzanne LaFrance.
This is a balanced, practical approach. It minimizes legal risks to the municipality, and it can be implemented effectively with our existing resources.
Illegal encampments, open drug use, untreated mental illness, and theft are turning our parks, our sidewalks, public spaces into danger zones. The city clears out camps only to see them pop up again days later.
How do you pull money out of thin air? How do you pull money out of thin air? How can you take money from somebody who doesn't have any? How can you put that? How do you put that person in jail and prison, costing the state more tax dollars?
The LaFrance proposed ordinance will face another round of public hearing before a vote likely later in July.
An update on the wildfire danger across the state. Cooler temperatures may eventually bring some relief, but there's still cause for concern. On Tuesday, the Southwest Area Incident Management Team took command of 3 wildfires in the interior: the Himalaya Road Fire, Aggie Creek Fire, and the Washington Creek Fire.
Fire crews are working to assess all 3 fires, deploying heavy equipment to build and strengthen containment lines. Crews are taking advantage of existing fuel breaks and pre-treated areas to help hold the line.
Meanwhile, firefighters are making headway on the 2,500-acre Nelchina fire that's burning just south of the Eureka Roadhouse. Crews are focused on stopping the fire's northern push toward the Glen Highway. Pumps, hose lines, and masticators are in place while the National Guard Blackhawks drop water from above. Officials say progress is strong and structures remain protected.
Also in the interior, fire crews are prioritizing structure protection across both the Bear Creek and the St. George fire zones. On the Bear Creek fire, a night shift is actively monitoring hotspots. Bulldozers are working to keep the blaze contained west of the Nenana River. And in both areas, additional resources continue to arrive.
And happening today, 4 more hotshot crews are expected to arrive in the state. The first jet carrying wildland firefighters from the lower 48 touched down in Alaska Monday. On board 4 Type 1 elite teams that are trained for the most demanding wildfire conditions. These crews have already been assigned to fires across the state.
The race for the mayor of the city of Fairbanks is heating up as Assembly member Mindy O'Neill announces she's running for the position in October. O'Neill filed a letter of intent last Tuesday, running against current city mayor David Pruz, who filed his letter in December. Coming off of 6 years on the borough assembly, O'Neill said she's interested in downtown issues, including affordable housing and revitalizing the area. So far, the assembly member says her campaign has involved coming up with a team, creating a website, and developing a message.
I started talking to my neighbors. I started talking to people that I work with, those that I work with in the community, and just kind of gaining a feel for what are your feelings about the city, and do you feel like we're going in the right direction?
Someone was going to put their hat in the ring, and Mindy's a very capable opponent. She comes from the borough side. I'm on the city side, so I think my strength with the city is what really separates us.
Both candidates must file their candidacies with the city in July. The election coming up October 7th.
After the governor's education funding veto led to a $2.5 million deficit for the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District, board members are now finalizing a budget that's still more than $1.5 million short. The veto means the $700 per student increase districts had expected was cut to a $500 increase instead. Members hope lawmakers can bridge the $1.7 million gap when the next session starts in January, and they'll use some borough funding to cover part of the deficit.
Anchorage police have now identified a man wanted in connection to a violent crash that sent a truck into the side of the Pelmeni restaurant downtown. It happened around 3:30 a.m. on April 20th at the corner of 5th Avenue and K Street. When police arrived, they found a blue Dodge truck smashed into the building, but no one behind the wheel. After weeks of investigation, detectives identified the driver as 41-year-old Robert Miller. He now faces multiple felony charges, including assault, criminal mischief, leaving the scene, drug possession, and reckless driving.
An update to a story that we first brought you yesterday here on the morning edition of that ATV and train collision. Alaska state troopers say it claimed the life of 45-year-old Brian Neudecker. He was riding an ATV Monday night when he was hit by a freight train near milepost 205 of the Alaska Railroad main line near Talkeetna. The train was en route to Fairbanks when the crash happened around 10 p.m. Neudecker died at the scene. Friends say that he was a father of 5 and had just moved to Talkeetna last month. The Alaska Railroad is expressing condolences and reminding the public to stay clear of active tracks.
More trouble for a cargo ship that caught fire earlier this month off Alaska's Aleutian Islands.
Officials confirmed the Morning Midas sank Monday in deep ocean waters weeks after the crew abandoned ship. Fire damage, heavy seas, and water seepage led to its final sinking.
The vessel was carrying about 3,000 new vehicles to Mexico, including electric and hybrid cars. The U.S. Coast Guard says there's no sign of pollution so far, but response teams remain on scene as a precaution.
Coming up, thinking about planting or putting in a new fence this summer?
It's a public safety issue if you hit a gas line.
That's why before you dig in, make sure you're not digging into trouble. For this week's Arctic Gardens is next.
Still favoring some wet conditions across the state, more so across eastern parts of South Central and into the interior. I'll have more on that, but first at sunrise, 422 in Anchorage, 352 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back on this Wednesday morning. We're looking for bears. Is that one up in the top left? I kind of see something behind that bush there. Aaron, something's moving around.
There's a seagull.
There's
Another seagull.
Couple seagulls.
I'm not seeing any bears this morning, but I mean, we've seen our fair share the past couple of days. We did see a few, looks like mini bears that were, baby bears that were working their way through Brooks Falls. Those temperatures this morning sitting in the 50s across the state. We are seeing some sunshine breaks here across South Central, but a good portion of the state still holding on to those cloudier conditions as well as that wet weather pattern that has been with us. And we are going to see the chance for those rain showers to steadily increase across parts of South Central. So for here in Anchorage, you can see some sunshine breaks to start off the morning. And as we head into the interior, we are seeing some improvement with those smoky skies. You can see still holding on to some of those the hazy conditions on the horizon, and areas near Fairbanks certainly will see that potential for those smoky conditions to continue to linger. Although that rain moving in today will help, for the most part, kind of filter out some of those smoke particles. 50 degrees in McGrath, 56 in Kotzebue, 33 degrees in Utqiagvik. We've got the temperatures out towards the Aleutian sitting in the 40s, and then we've got 50s out towards southeast. So for the most part, it is a cool, pleasant start to the day, and we are going to see this overall weather pattern to continuing to favor a cooler stretch as we close out June. We've got rain showers pushing through the interior here across South Central, some isolated activity out towards southwest Alaska, and of course we've got some ongoing rain showers as you head into the southeast panhandle. Here's our trough of pressure, our low pressure that continues to spread eastward across the state. We have lost our ridge, and now as that trough continues to spread across the state, we're going to continue to favor wetter conditions, this cloudier weather pattern, and of course temperatures will continue to remain on the cool side, which for many areas across the state means highs. They'll stay anywhere from the 40s along the slope to the 50s and 60s elsewhere across the state. We could still see a few locations warming into the 70s, but overall we are going to continue to favor these cooler conditions. And you can see that rain building in throughout the day, really favoring Prince William Sound, the Copper River Basin, into the interior through the remainder of today. And then by tonight, we'll see areas of the valley, both the Matsu Valley and northern portions of the Susitna Valley, seeing a better chance for some of that heavier rainfall. Western parts of South Central from the Kenai Here in Anchorage, largely going to stay on the dry side, but we could see some spotty to isolated showers. And then as we welcome in Thursday and Friday, we could see a better potential for some of that rain to spread across the Kenai. So looking at that rainfall total, the next couple of days, you can see areas of the interior could see anywhere from a quarter to about half an inch of rainfall. We've even got some light showers pushing across western Alaska, which have really helped when it comes to that firefighting efforts. And then out towards southeast, we've got a wet weather pattern that's really taking hold through the rest of this week. In fact, as we close out June and welcome in July, you can see a good portion of the state will continue to see that tilt towards wetter weather. With that being said, much like we're seeing here in South Central, not every day is going to bring that chance for seeing some rain. Here in the Anchorage Bowl, we certainly have been a lot drier compared to the rest of the region. Those temperatures, though, warming back into the lower 60s throughout the afternoon hours. We will see some sunshine breaks for at least the first part of the day. 54 degrees in Kodiak, 61 in Homer. Those temperatures across South Central easily going to warm into the 50s and the 60s throughout the remainder of the day. The Matanuska River near Butte still up under that flood advisory through the evening hours. That 7-day forecast, well, we're talking about daily highs, low to mid 60s. Better chance for more rain looks possible into early next week.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Looks good.
Now, this week's edition of Arctic Gardens centers around a common warning, one we're supposed to heed.
But how important is it really? Tracy Sinclair explains why you need to call before you dig. Here's this week's Arctic Gardens.
So this week, my project is digging out this garden and planting some more blueberry bushes. So I better get to work. Oh, wait. I better call for a locate first. We've seen the signs, call before you dig, but do I really need to?
It's a public safety issue. If you hit a gas line, you know, it can cause a risk to you, your neighbors, the first responders.
And there's not only gas, but power and communication lines underground as well. And yes, even if you're just digging a new garden, doing some landscaping, or planting a tree, if you're disturbing the surface of the ground, it's considered digging, and you need to know where these lines are.
And it's important to call for these smaller projects because the gas lines aren't always as deep as you think.
I'm going to be sending a frequency down this gas line, and my magic wand over there is going to tell me approximately where that gas line runs.
The good news is the turnaround time is quick.
The service line tees in here. This is a gas main.
2 business days in most Alaskan towns. And it's fast.
As long as everything locates good, which this did, I can be in and out in less than 5 minutes. So it's just getting feedback from that frequency underground, and a little magnetic field is coming up to my receiver and saying, hey, I'm right here. We have a 2-foot tolerance on each side of this dot, so if you're going to be digging within 2 feet of either side of this mark, you're going to want to hand dig opposed to using heavy machinery.
The challenge is locates are only good for 15 days.
Each time you're going to dig, that you call in for new locates because, you know, things can change, things can move.
Besides being a safety issue, it could also be a costly one.
Another thing that people should be aware of is if they do hit our lines, they will get charged for our response and repair of the lines, and that can cost usually $1,000 or more.
So call 811 or go to 811ak.com for your locates, and then get ready to work. Tracy Sinclair, Alaska's news source.
You can always go back and watch other stories about planting and community gardening on our website.
Yeah, just search under the features tab for Arctic Gardens. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.